Hey, good morning to you. Sunday here. Snow's on its way to melting. It's lasted a few days. We only had the snow that we had on video. Just one light day, one heavy day. But it stayed so cold all day long and been so overcast, cloudy, foggy, that we really haven't had it melt. It's kind of nice. So this morning, I'm just going back over the powerhouse. Really, I'm right here already. And, pardon me, we went in town yesterday to get a new generator. We talked about it, and we basically needed power because our solar system is on the way crashing. So, I believe the battery banks are pretty much on their way out. I do not believe that we were actually able to bounce them back with any sort of the PWM or the wind. I believe that they're experiencing a catastrophic failure due to the fact that they had 75 watt draw overnight without the generator running the other day, and the power lasted like an hour and a half from a fully charged 28 battery, 28 watt. Sorry, oh my gosh, it's too early to do this. Okay, from a fully charged reading of 28 volts off the battery bank to 21, enough to emergency shut down the inverter in an hour and a half with 75 watts, right? There's no way that amount of battery should be able to run 75 watts for like a week and a half. Okay, back to this generator, brand spanking new, if you couldn't tell by the really shiny bumblebee yellow. There are a lot of other generators available closer to me. I had to drive all the way to Carson City for this one, which was like 2-3 hours for me if you count all the travel time with the road in the snow conditions, and I basically didn't feel comfortable getting them because, well, one of them was like $100 for a 900 watt generator, but it was a 2-stroke motor, you know, just like a weed whacker motor or a little two-banger, which you consider that from old dirt bikes. I hate 2-stroke motors, man. They stink if you've ever dealt with them. You gotta mix fuel and oil because there's no oil reservoir or anything. They're just super dirty. California's, I'm pretty sure, outlawed them, but you know, they outlaw everything. So, I got this one. We're thinking about it, you know. The other generator broke down on us a few times, and Champion had zero problems, like second day airing us the parts. It was awesome. Every time I talked to them, they're pretty good. I called them a few days ago, you know, about the other generator, which is sitting around here somewhere. I was like, yeah, it's starting to spew white smoke all over the place. Sounds like crap. Any ideas? And the guy said, yeah, it sounds like the valves might be out of adjustment. 3 days later, kaboom! Valve piece flies off. Good call, guy. The valves were out of adjustment. Probably half cracked already. So anyways, we picked up the exact same generator. It's like $199. And the other one lasted us over a year. Alright? Before catastrophic failure. And I have to say that we most likely use this thing more often than we should. We find ourselves in emergency generator situations quite often, even with our full solar system. Oh God, I sure to God hope no one's copying our system exactly. We have tried to been very clear, like, we're noobs. We're experimenting with all this stuff, right? So, we have a brand new generator. It's good to go. I have it sitting out there because I'm about to change the oil, because after the first few hours, you're supposed to dump the oil out on a brand new generator. It really helps prolong its life. So, back to power, I suppose. It's not a really awesome feeling to think that all these are dead. You know, we've been posting on a few different forums and stuff, and we had an electrical engineer hit us back up with like a book response. If you have ever accidentally got someone that responds to you like that, it can be double-edged sword, you know, because they provide a lot of very accurate information that you know is correct because of their credentials and based off of all the information you've posted, but you hate their answer. It's Bianca was talking about it yesterday. It's like the same reason everyone hates mechanics, Mort. All they give you is bad news, and that you're going to have to give them a lot of money. Which is true, I suppose, right? But, okay, so to cut this long story short, I have had a gut feeling that these are the wrong batteries forever, because they're just standard automotive batteries. They're not even Deep Cycle Marine batteries. Let's see. Basically got marketed into purchasing them, I guess. Told they're very special batteries for solar systems, and even though they're not deep cycle, they're like hybrid deep cycle batteries and can still take many charges over times and being discharged low, and that lots of solar companies locally have been buying them up and stuff. And so they were purchased and brought home, and here we are X months later. Yeah. So now we're looking at getting real batteries and doing the research on that. Pretty much, I guess, like one company, Trojan, which makes really good batteries. But what we're doing now is we're gathering data on exactly what our usage is. You know, it's a good time, too, because it's in the winter when we use a lot more lighting, a lot more oven, which uses, even though it's a gas, a giant glow plug, which takes a lot of power. And we have a fan on constantly to circulate the heat in the house. So, with this little handy feature right here that we installed a while ago, we can actually have a 24-hour record. If you see like all this stuff on the right, it's actually like a little menu with a whole bunch of different options and stuff. And it tells you a total of how much you've used since a certain number of days and hours. So in the past 11 hours, we've used 1,061 watt hours, okay? Or 1 kilowatt hour. Almost exactly 11 hours ago. And when this hits 24 hours, this will turn to number 1, and this will hit 0, which represents 1 day and 0 hours as it flips over. And so we're using this now actively to track usage from a given point and then try to make calculations on a very specifically sized system. Okay, so we have a couple major problems with our system as it stands currently. One, the batteries don't last. Okay? And two is that they seem to be full and stop letting power in. I guess that's problem 2. I'm hoping that we can make the correct calculations to keep most of the pieces we have. Because when we were discussing this last night and getting all this information, from these very educated people who actually also install stuff, they're like, well, if you go to this certain system, you're limited to 36 volt batteries. So you can only have, multiple of like 3 batteries. And then you need this many watt hours based upon your draw average, and then where you're at, and this many solar panels. Straight up like, a formula, which is what we've been looking for a very long time. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword when you go talk to the knowledgeable mechanic, because you finally know what's up, but then it's sad to deal with the monetary aspect of it. So I'm going to try to figure out how we can pull all these batteries off and test them individually. I know they're sealed. I've seen some videos online like basically taking the cover off, which allows you to access the sealed wells in there to access the specific gravity of the dissolved acid in the battery, to get an actual voltage reading. So that's what I have planned for, I guess, the short future. How do we make the transition, though, man? I mean, look at this. We are tied in to the house. This giant cable that comes off this giant inverter, that's the whole house, right? We wired the house like a house and power it from this cord. So now, if we start having to chop this up because it's failing, how do I do bypass surgery with keeping this alive? Anybody? Man, what a waste. Look at that gold, beautiful color. Alright. Oil for the new generator change. That's the break-in period. Running it overnight for a few hours and putting oil in it. Well, twice, obviously. When a standard extension with vice grips on machine knurls cannot take off the bolt, and you gotta move to a giant impact torquer, you know there's a problem. So Champion, if you're ever watching, please go light on the drain plug. You already got a lock washer on there, it's good. Alright, check this out. It was at 25 volts, remember? Nothing's changed inside. B is still asleep. Static draw of 75 watts of the fan. It's now down to 23 volts. I don't know if this is it stabilizing, you know, a half hour after the generator is turned off, or what, but to me it seems like a significant drop. Anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. See you next time.